I was about 4 or 5 years old, and my parents had just separated. My mom and I lived in a 2-bedroom apartment. I had my own room, but I often slept in her bed. Our bedrooms were directly across from each other at the end of a hallway. One summer night, the window behind my mom's bed was open, allowing the warm air in. I woke up in the middle of the night to see our cat sitting in the doorway of my mom's room. It was strange because the cat usually slept with us. Suddenly, the cat walked into my bedroom and meowed. I turned to wake my mom. As she groggily asked what was wrong, we both looked toward the doorway and saw a man standing there, stepping out of my bedroom. In a split second, my mom scooped me up and threw me out the window. Luckily, we lived on the first floor, and it was only a short drop to the ground. She followed me out and screamed for help. Someone called 911, and the police arrived. They found no signs of forced entry, but our front door was unlocked. My mom was adamant she had locked it with the deadbolt and chain. A week later, while cleaning the kitchen, my mom opened the water heater closet. Inside, she found a notebook with drawings and names, a pair of gloves, and gum wrappers. The police suspected the man had been hiding in our home and waited until we were asleep. When I was 12, I lived with my dad in a new neighborhood where I didn't know many people. My dad's friend had a family, and I became acquainted with their daughter, who was close to my age. One night, my friend Rob was hanging out at their house with the girl and her younger brother. They were home alone because their mom was at work. Rob wasn't supposed to be there, so when someone knocked on the door, he slipped out a window and went home. Thinking it was their mom, the girl answered the door. But it wasn't her mom. It was the mentally ill sister of a woman her mom had been helping. This woman had figured out their address and the mom's work schedule. What happened next is horrifying. The girl's younger brother managed to escape to a neighbor's house to call the police. But the woman brutally murdered my friend, decapitating her and leaving her naked body in the bathtub. The girl's head was hidden among the Christmas presents. The incident haunted the neighborhood, and I wasn't allowed to attend her funeral. It was a tragedy that still chills me to this day. I was sitting in my room after work on the second floor of our house. My younger brother was downstairs watching TV, and our dog was sleeping in the hallway outside my door. Suddenly, the dog started barking, jumping, and making a commotion. Then I heard a male voice say, "Ah, that's a good girl." It didn't sound like my brother. Thinking it was our roommate, I called out, "Oh, you're home early." As I opened the door, I saw no one, just the dog wagging her tail, staring at the empty hallway. My brother came upstairs, annoyed that I had riled up the dog. He said he also heard the voice and thought it was me or our roommate. We searched the house, armed with my butterfly knife and his BB gun, but found no one. To this day, I can't explain what we both heard. A few years ago, I was home alone at night, watching TV in the living room. The doorbell rang, which immediately made me cautious. I approached the door without turning on the porch light and peeked through the peephole. Outside, I saw a small, shadowy figure, about 3 to 4 feet tall. It moved strangely, like it was dancing, dipping and oscillating its arms like wings. The figure was more opaque than the surrounding darkness, making it even eerier. Terrified, I stepped away from the peephole. After gathering some courage, I looked again, but the figure was gone. I still have no idea what I saw that night, but it gives me chills whenever I think about it. My ex-wife had a few strange experiences, but this one stands out. While I was at work, she called me unexpectedly, which was unusual since she worked the night shift. She asked me to call my friend Danny and make sure he and his family were okay. When I asked why, she said she'd had a dream but couldn't remember it. She just felt compelled to check on Danny. I called him, explained my wife's dream, and asked if everything was fine. He chuckled and said everything was okay, thanking my wife for her concern. Later, I found out that within half an hour of my call, Danny received news from his uncle in Florida. His son had taken his own life by hanging. The timing of my wife's dream and Danny's loss still haunts me. It was as if she had foreseen the tragedy. A few years ago, I was home alone at night time. I was watching TV in the living room when I heard the doorbell ring. Whenever I hear the doorbell ring, especially when I'm home alone, I am cautious to answer it. I walk up to the peephole without turning on the porch light, so they don't know if anyone is actually home or not, and look through. It's really dark, but I can see a small figure, more like black blob. It gets definite shape and had to be around 3 to 4 feet, doing like a dancing motion, dipping down and oscillating its arms outward. Think of a person moving their arms like wings gracefully. It was dark outside, but this figure was more opaque, so I could see this going on. After a few seconds, I stopped looking through the peephole because it was too freaky to look at. I regained some courage and looked back through, and whatever it was gone. To this day I still don't know what that was, and I get freaked out thinking about it.